Bhaagyada Lakshmi Baaramma Nammamma nee Bhaagyada Lakshmi Baaramma Nammamma nee Saubhagyada Lakshmi Baaramma.
Isn't this one of the most famous Indian classical songs ever? Made immortal by singers like Pandit Bhimsen Joshi, M.S. and M.L. Vasantakumari, it was written by the great Kannada composer Purandara Dasa in the 1500s. Purandara Dasa is called the father of Carnatic music. Yet, how many of us really know his story and his contribution to Indian music and culture?
You're listening to Āścarya.
This series will be about the Haridasas and their successors. The Haridasas were saints largely from Karnataka who worshipped Krishna in various forms, particularly Vittala, using song, dance, and music. We'll dive deeper into the significance of this movement and how it tied into the larger Bhakti tradition that was surging throughout India in later episodes. In this episode, we'll focus on Purandara Dasa, arguably the most famous Haridasa. He was born in 1484 into a rich family in southern Karnataka. They named him Srinivasa. His father was a prosperous diamond merchant, and when Srinivasa took over the business, it flourished even further. Despite his considerable wealth, Srinivasa was miserly and uncharitable. He was married to Saraswati Bai, a woman of quite a different character. She was soft-hearted and generous. One day, an old man came begging at their doorstep. "I need the money to support my grandson's Upanayana ceremony," he said. Knowing her husband would disapprove but wanting to help, she quietly took off her nose ring. "Take this," she whispered, giving it to the old man. As life would have it, the man went to Srinivasa's jewelry shop to sell the ring. Srinivasa immediately recognized the ornament. "Please come back in some time," he told the old man before rushing home to confront his wife. "I want to see your nose ring," he said upon arriving home, describing the jewel that the old man had tried to sell him. Knowing that she had been caught and unable to face her husband, Saraswati Bai went into her puja room with the intent to commit suicide. Miraculously, she found the ornament in the room. She ran out and brought her husband the nose ring. Srinivasa was stunned since he had left the ornament in his shop before he went home. Seeing his expression, his wife confessed the whole story. This was the turning point in his life. Taking it as a divine lesson in selflessness from Lord Vishnu himself, he realized the true poverty of the life he was leading until then, rich though he was. Giving up his wealth, he began his spiritual pursuit. Eventually, he reached Vijayanagara, where he became a disciple of Vyasaraja, the Rajaguru of Emperor Krishna Deva Raya. Under his teacher's guidance, Srinivasa learned the Vedas, Upanishads, and many other Shastras. He particularly proved to be a master of music, Thala, Laya, and Raga. So enamored was his teacher with his prodigiousness that he considered him an avatar of Narada. His transformation was total. He came to be known as Purandara, now living in poverty with his family, but totally devoted to Krishna in the Bhakti Marga. Over the next 4 decades, he achieved for Karnataka what the 12 Alvars had done for the Tamil region in the preceding centuries. He simplified the essence of the Vedas written in Sanskrit for easy comprehension and daily practice by common Kannada people. The Haridasas' currents are felt to this day. P.V.R.K. Prasad, the IAS officer whose stories we heard in the first series on Tirupati Balaji, was strongly influenced by his wife's adherence to the Haridasa movement. Perhaps Purandara's most significant contribution was to Indian classical music. At a time where it was vulnerable to distortion by Western religious influences, Purandara came to its rescue. He structured the basic lessons in Carnatic classical music, which students learn to this day. Sharali Varases, Janti Swaras, Alankaras, Lakshana Gitas, Prabandhas, Ugabogas, Dhatu Varse, Geetams, Suladis, and Kritis. He introduced the raga Maya Malava Gaula as the basis for music instruction, a standard that is still adhered to. His own compositions also range from the simple to philosophical. Through his music, he appealed to the people to live a better and virtuous life, seeking spirituality and follow the Bhakti Marga. Purandara Dasa has composed over 450,000 songs in both Kannada and Sanskrit, adopting a simple and clear style. There are over 80 ragas which he identified and systematized, including the ones such as Kalyani, Varali, Todi, Bhairavi, and Saveri, which are popular today. The Mantapa by the river Tungabhadra, where he composed many of his songs, still stands in Hampi. The great musical trinity, Tyagaraja, Muthuswami Dikshitar, and Shyama Shastri, carried his legacy forward, recognizing him as the founder of Karnataka music, which evolved into Carnatic music. An interesting footnote. Although not much is known about the exact circumstances, at some point when Krishnadevaraya's son Ramaraya was ruling, Purandara Dasa permanently left the empire's capital. It is said that once he left, the vitality of Vijayanagara collapsed. What we do know for certain is that shortly after Purandara Dasa's exit, the capital fell at the hands of the Muslim invaders who set the city ablaze, leaving behind the ruins we see today. That's it in this. More to come. This is Sukanya signing off.